Welcome to the Northwest Iowa Sports Podcast. To the left of me, we have Riley Viss. To the right of me, we have Blake Parks, and I am Aaron Hayenga. So let's get into this final action of regular season Siouxland Conference. So we're starting on a Monday. We have the first upset of the week, Rock Valley versus Boyden Hall in Rock Valley. Rock Valley ended up winning 65-61 with 17 points from Brayden Van Kinkricks and then 18 points from Carter Francis for Boyden Hall, but not enough. Guys, what did you think about this game?
I mean, it was a great game from where I was sitting, but I don't know about anybody else. But yeah, it kind of looked like a great second and third quarter from Rock Valley, only giving up 15 points combined.
I heard the refs were horrible, but that's just what everybody was saying. No big deal.
We only got there at the fourth quarter after our West Sioux game, but yeah, we saw the fourth quarter. Looked like Rock Valley was hitting on all cylinders, so that kind of helped them. They went 11 for 23 for 3, so that really helped. And I guess Boyden Hall's having an off week. Bad time to have one, but that's just how it went on Monday.
It's the best time to have one. What are you talking about? Before tournaments.
Oh boy.
Now you're hitting all cylinders now.
And then moving on from that game, Tuesday at Hall, we had Boyden Hall versus Sheldon. Boyden Hall took that one 65-51, although it was a close game at the end of 3. Leading scorer for Boyden Hall in that game was Carter Francis again. He had 16 points. And Sheldon's leading scorer was Mitchell Wolf. He had 15 points.
It didn't look like much scoring for Sheldon. They had like 5 people scoring, and then 3 people had double figures. And for Boyden Hall, whoever they had playing had at least 3 points.
It's beginning to look like Boyden Hall is making their shots. It's just their defense is not holding back points, and the other team's just finding points somehow. And I mean, their offense is there every night. Shot 50% against Rock Valley, and then shot just over 50% against Sheldon. So I mean, they're not shooting bad.
I think after the first quarter, Sheldon was feeling pretty good about themselves, and then second quarter hit, and then it was close.
Yeah, you let Sheldon into this one, and even the bottom of the Siouxland teams are going to give you a fight if you let them in. And that's exactly what Boyden Hall did. Although they did pull out with a 14-point win after their very strong fourth quarter. And then we have a Tuesday night game in George. We have George Little Rock taking this one against Sibley Ocheyedan, 86-53. Big win for the Mustangs. Leading scorer for George Little Rock was Lucas Nagel. He poured in 21 points. Then leading scorer for Sibley Ocheyedan was Carter Brower. He had 15 points. So what do you feel about this game?
It looked. Sibley could not score. 19 for 49, 3 for 20 from downtown. They had 12 free throws made. They almost made more free throws than they made shots. And then I feel like the only reason George won is they had 24 free throw attempts, and they shot a little bit better. And it helps when Sibley shoots just god awful.
Yeah, when you go 3 of 20 from 3, that really hurts you. Then after the first quarter, 22-8, and then George just added basically about 20 a quarter from there. So it was just a blowout for George. So it's not really unexpected of them to have a game like this, but Sibley could have played better.
Is Jagger Johnson their leading scorer?
Who?
Jagger Johnson, the senior. Because he had 0 and he had 4 fouls, so he was in foul trouble. Do you know who their leading scorer is?
I think theirs is Grant Brower. If that is, I think, what their leading scorer is.
Yeah, he didn't shoot very well either. 0 for 4 from downtown. Made all of his free throws, though. That's a good thing.
I mean, that just looks like an all-around great game for George Little Rock. When you put up 86 points, you're not going to lose a lot when you score 86. And also, looks like they're bothering shots with that good GLR defense that they have. And yeah, that's just kind of what you expect from George Little Rock. And then we have a Tuesday night game in Sioux Center. We have Sioux Center taking the win over Rock Valley 61-48. Leading scorer for Sioux Center was a tie between Charlie Dykeshorn and Wilson Harshbarger, both with 14 points. And Rock Valley's leading scorer was Brayton Van Kinkrix. He had 19.
Rock Valley couldn't shoot in this game. 16 for 50. You're not going to win the Siouxland. 10 for 28 from downtown. They shot more threes than they did twos, and if they're not going in, you're not winning the Siouxland.
Yeah, this looks like kind of a cold night for Rock Valley because they pulled off quite a few shockers this week, but that's when they were hot. When you're cold, I guess you're just going to lose those.
They only had 2 players in double digits, which is good, but they shot 7 for 20 and then 4 for 12. And then besides that, they had a 9 and a 6, and then 2 people with 2 points. They only had 6 players scoring, and only 4 players scoring over 3 points. That's not going to get you anything.
They kind of look like, if you look at the box score, Sioux Center ended up pulling away in the fourth quarter because it was close, and then fourth quarter, Rock Valley just couldn't get it done.
That's what it's looking like with the number 3 team in Siouxland versus number 4 team in Siouxland, and this is kind of where Rock Valley let the third team in the Siouxland kind of slip from them, and yeah, moving on from that, we have a Tuesday night game in Rock Rapids. We have MLC Floyd Valley taking the dub over Central Lyon, 79-45. Leading scorer for MLC was sorry if I get this wrong, Alex Van Kelsbeek. He had 33 points.
Dude, he was hot. 14 for 17.
And then for Central Line, it was Zed Hymanson with 15 points.
33 points, shooting 14 for 17. Not a single three-pointer shot by him. That is really working. He looks like a post. He's number 43. Mm-hmm. He is a post. It just looks like Central Line couldn't guard the post. That's probably what it came down to. He also had 12 rebounds.
He's only 8 assists shy of a triple-double.
8 assists. That's just it. 8 assists away. That's not good.
Okay, also I'm looking at the box score. He had 6 blocks. So he was also getting done on the defensive end, along with 3 steals for a post.
And 2 assists. That's one heck of a game in the Siouxland. With 12 rebounds, 8 offensive rebounds, 6 of them a few of them probably came off the blocks, just tipping the ball to yourself. What a great game by him. He definitely led them there. I mean, they shot 5 for 19 from downtown, so they needed something.
Oh, this was kind of expected of Central Lyon, just giving up too many points per quarter and not scoring very many.
Central Lyon is easily the worst team. Any other team can win on any given night except for Central Lyon this year.
Yeah, it's just looking like your typical Central Line game, but definitely not a typical game from Alex Van Kelsbeek. But maybe hand him the MVP. I don't know. Guess we'll find out.
Siouxland MVP?
I feel like we should give those things out. Anyways, after that one, we have a Tuesday night game in Inwood. We have Okoboji taking the win over West Line. Okoboji surprisingly good this week.
Okoboji shot well over 50%, 29 for 50. Can't really hit their free throws, but they had 33 rebounds. But West Line had 37. Those numbers look a little bit high. A lot of missed shots, it looks like, but West Line cannot score. 11 for 39 from downtown.
Looks like Kyle Martin, the junior from Okoboji, had 21. Then Josh Van Beek from West Line had 18. So we had some pretty high scores in this one. And yeah, Okoboji looked hot there, 29 for 50. And 50% for threes.
West Line shooting 28 of 69.
When you think about it, too, they had 19 more shots, and they still lost by 12.
They're not going in. They're not going in.
Kind of looks.
They were 1 for 6 for free throws, and Boji hit 13 out of 22. So free throws are freaking ugly. It looked like a JV game. Is what it looks like.
Yeah, definitely not looking like a solid performance from West Line, and Okoboji took advantage of it.
For sure.
Even though having to drive a long way.
That's a 2-hour drive for Okoboji. They still got it done. So I think maybe for future reference, maybe the drive to Okoboji isn't as big as we all think it is. Anyways, moving on to Friday night's game. We have a Friday night game in Rock Valley. We were at that one. Rock Valley took the win 51-48. No stats for Rock Valley, but I imagine McKinkrix was the leading scorer. And then for George Hill Rock, leading scorer was Peyton Malden. He poured in 26, but it still was not enough as GLR loses that one by 3.
Is it normal for George to be putting up 6 players a game?
Or
this year?
I'd say George Hill Rock really isn't a team with a lot of issues, but I'd say if there is an issue, it's probably depth. They usually play about 6 or 7 players a game.
Well, looking back at the Sibley game, they also won by 30. I was going to say they had 10 players play. But, no, 6 players, you will not win in the Siouxland unless you guys have some studs.
And you always saying Georgia's second half team.
They're
coming out with 3 points in the third quarter.
I feel like this week in the Siouxland for the final week, everything you ever knew about the Siouxland Conference going into this final week, just throw it out the window because everything is just going nuts.
It's every year. The last week is always just freaking crazy. Nobody ever looks at predictions in the last week because you'll never know who's going to win.
Exactly. This is just a week that it's kind of like the NCAA tournament. You're gonna get you're not gonna get it right. Your predictions.
And for like your hometown team, like, even if they're bad, like let's take Sheldon. They're bad, but like go out and support them. They only lost by Siouxland. That's the next game that we talk about. But like only losing by 4 to a top, I think they're top 10 this week in 2A. That's something fun to watch. Like the Siouxland will always end out strong.
Yeah, especially for those bottom teams, they give some hope for tournament time when they're playing like this in the final week.
And they need it.
And even if the first game was ugly, like Rock Valley lost to Georgia by like 20, and then they lost to Boynton Hall by like 20, but then they play them at home and everything just changes.
That student section's annoying as hell.
Yeah, just like we talked about earlier, that Rock Valley student section is definitely one of, no offense, the most annoying in the Siouxland.
That's how you win games.
But yeah, Rock Valley, they were hot that game. GLR shot 18 for 44, 4 for 14 for 3, so they definitely were bothered by shots and they could not shoot the ball, so that definitely does not help their case.
They had 9 steals and 6 blocks, though. Watching this game, it was fun to watch because it was all over the place.
Yeah, we got people diving on the floor everywhere. It
was a fun game.
People getting in the passing lanes, going up on each other on defense. It was
a defensive game.
Yes, it was very well hard fought. So there's that game, and then we have just what Riley was talking about, a Friday night game in Sheldon. We have Sioux Center just barely taking the win over Sheldon, 49-45. Sioux Center did not post any stats for their players, but Sheldon's leading scorer was Mitchell Wolf again. He had 19 points.
He's a junior. He's showing people that they got to be watching him for his senior year. They're not going to be that tough next year, but they're going to be led by a pretty good player.
It was not a very high-scoring game at the end of the first. Sheldon was up only 8-6.
Looks like a War Eagle game.
Yeah, you'd think there would be like a lot of steals from Sheldon then if they're only allowing 6 points, but only 7 in the game. And maybe it just wasn't shots falling because Sheldon shot 17 for 44, 8 for 25 for 3. So
they were forcing their threes a little too much. They were relying on it way too much.
It was looking like Sioux Center couldn't hit, Sheldon could hit, and in the end, Sheldon just couldn't shoot a little bit worse than Sioux Center, and they ended up losing by 4.
The talent really shows in the end of almost every game because, we're not at the Boyd Hall game yet, but we'll get there. And the talent shows, like, if Sioux Center's down 10, they're going to come back and make it a 5-point game versus the lower seeded teams. Just because they got more talent.
Exactly. So there was that game, 4-point win for Sioux Center, and then after that we have a Friday night game at Orange City. This one was not close by any means. We had MLC Floyd Valley winning against West Lyon 72-48. Leading scorer for MLC was Alex Van Kalsbeek again, but now with a 33-point game. He only had 19 in this one. And then for West Lyon, their leading scorer was Jalen Gramstad, he had 19 points, so matching 19 for 19. But team-wise, MLC a lot better in this game.
Westline only had 4 players make a basket. They had one player go 0 for 7, 0 for 6 from downtown. They had another player go 0 for 3, 0 for 2, and 0 for 1, and another 0 for 3. Yeah, they shot horrible.
Gramstad definitely not getting help in this one. Maybe from a few other stars, but yeah, not a lot of help.
They had 3 double-digit scores, and the fourth scorer had 3 points. The kid hit a 2-pointer and then a free throw.
In the second and third quarter combined, Westline got outscored 42 to 23.
Jeez,
that's not very good. They started off the game great, but then after that, they just dropped, couldn't hit their shots.
There is again the talent. MLC I think is 5th in the Siouxland, and then Westline way at the bottom. That's what's gonna happen. Can't make shots and you lose.
For sure.
That's the way it goes. They went 19 for 56. And also the fact that Westline shot 15 more times than MLC.
MLC only had 9 fouls. That's a low number here in the Siouxland. You don't see many games under 10 fouls.
They were definitely hitting their free throws, MLC was. They went 14 for 17. So, yeah, just like every coach in the Siouxland and basically every coach in the world is going to tell you, make your free throws because that can cost you a game.
And it shows right here. The game was over.
MLC also had 11 team steals. So that will help you.
Exactly.
Sure. They out-rebounded 34 to 27 too. I mean, it doesn't sound like a big number, but that's a pretty big number.
It's just looking
7
like
rebounds.
MLC Floyd Valley killed Westline in every facet of this game, and it definitely shows.
For sure.
So, after that, we have a Friday night game in Sibley. No stats for this one, but Sibley Ocheyedan took the win over Central Line 64 to 55.
Talent comes out.
Mm-hmm.
They Sibley outscored Central Line 21 to 14 in the fourth. It was going in as a 2-point game, and then they came out and it was going in as a 2-point game, and Sibley came out in the fourth and just outworked Central Line and outplayed them.
Exactly. You got to play all 32 minutes. You can't play 24 and then rest for the final 8 because this is exactly what happened. You can't run out of gas. So, yeah, really no stats for that one. Not too much we can say besides Central Line's bad and Sibley's decent. So, here's our Siouxland Conference Game of the Week.
Game of the week?
We have the very tough Okoboji. We have bottom of the Siouxland, Okoboji, taking on first in the Siouxland, Boyden Hall. And Okoboji took the win, 63 to 59. No stats for Boyden Hall, I can understand why. But Okoboji, Lucas Lorenzen, the freshman, was cooking them. 23 points.
Oh, man.
So, Riley, you want to go first?
Yeah. They had 3 players in double digits. That's going to be tough to beat. They shot well, and they made their free throws. And obviously you can't see Boyden Hall stats, but I was thinking about it. What was I going to say earlier? I'll let you guys go first. I'll think about it.
Yeah, you let the freshman to cook on you.
Shot 11 of 18.
And he grabbed 11 rebounds, too.
Oh, my.
Had 3 steals. So, if you let a freshman go out there and cook you for like that, kind of lowers your morale. And then at that point, you're just done. I think Boyden Hall just kind of wants to move on to the playoffs at this point because they'll definitely be running a lot. I can tell you that.
Francis always told us. He always said at the end of the year, regular season, it doesn't matter. I mean, people just looking at records at that point. It doesn't matter if you win or not. It's playoffs. They're not coming out here against Okoboji and Sheldon and Rock Valley going out there to win. My senior year, Francis told us. He said the game versus Rock Valley was the last game of the year. He said that's Rock Valley's championship because Rock Valley sucked, and we were 3 losses that year, and I think we were number 1 in the state. No, it was Grandview or no, Gladbrook was. We were number 2 in the state all year. And, yeah, he said the last 2 weeks of basketball, just kind of go out there and play your game, but don't outwork yourself and get ready for playoffs.
Yeah,
and that looks like what they're doing now.
I can kind of understand that with our rec league playoffs coming up. Got to rest a little bit. You got to give yourself some time for the playoffs.
I'm ready.
So, yeah, definitely Okoboji with a shocker in that one. And looks like you're getting ready for playoff time.
It'll be interesting to see what Boyne Hall does in the playoffs, though, to see if they're going to continue it's a defensive struggle. They're putting up 59 points in that game. That's a pretty good offensive game in Siouxland. It just looks like their defense can't close out, and it looks like the other teams just get hot and go on runs.
Like, effort might be a factor in this one, but yeah, you let the freshman cook you.
Yeah, but one more thing I gotta say. I mean, it's the last game of the year. You're going all the way to Okoboji. Do you really give it up? I wouldn't. I don't know. I hated playing that Okoboji. It was so boring there.
I don't know. Okoboji did go to West Line and cook them. That's a 2-hour drive.
They're hot this week. Rock Valley, they're hot this week. That's what
I guess so. I guess they can make it interesting in the playoffs.
Look how Sibley.
All right, so that was the games for this week, and now we have the final Siouxland Conference standings.
Are you gonna be some more?
I'm on the Siouxland one because BC Moore takes in like the schedule and stuff. This is like the official what we look at.
Okay. Yeah.
So winning the Siouxland Conference at a conference record of 16-2 was Boyden Hall. Congrats to the Comets, and this is your year, I guess. And then moving on from that, second in the Siouxland, we have a 15-3 record. George Little Rock, very hard fought. Just had to beat Rock Valley. Couldn't get it done. Third, we have Sioux Center at 12-5. Looks like Kate Bleeker took them to third, so that's pretty good for one player. Rock Valley, 12-6. They're still in that. I guess we can probably move them up to the first tier after those two wins. But
and let me cut you off before we move on to the next one. They actually had a win over everybody ranked higher than them. They had a win over Boyne Hall, George, and Sioux Center. That's the only team in the Siouxland to beat every team that was ranked higher than them.
Oh, Boyne Hall.
Because not even George beat them. Not even George took a win over Boyne Hall. Sioux Center didn't beat George or Boyne Hall. But Rock Valley is the only team to take wins over teams ranked higher than them. And they beat all three.
The very scrappy team of Rock Valley. Sometimes playing football rather than basketball, but they can get it done.
I think the refs that one night liked it. I think they liked it.
But moving on from Rock Valley, we have MLC Floyd Valley at a record of 10-8. This is kind of where we get into like the mid-level teams. MLC, I think they're about the only mid-level team in the Siouxland. But
I'd say them or Sibley.
I guess even though Sibley did finish below Okoboji, but that was because of.
Anyways. Oh, they did?
Yep.
And BC Moore, not. I would say MLC and Okoboji and maybe even Sibley are the mid-level teams, and then the rest are just freaking horrible.
Last week they were a lower-level team, but after, did they go 3-0 this week?
Who?
Okoboji.
Let me double-check that really quick.
I think they went 3-0.
They went... they lost on the second to George, and then they won the 5th and the 8th to West Lion and Boyne Hall.
All right, so like this whole... From like Monday, they went 3-0, so they probably moved from the bottom tier to the mid tier. Okoboji at 7-11. That's actually pretty good for Okoboji.
They actually went on a it looks like a 7-game losing streak, and then they ended the season at 4-5. Only lost them to George at home. Actually.
Not bad. Then moving on from Okoboji, we have Sibley Cheaton, 6-12. How can we describe their season? A lot better than expected. They're usually at the lower level, but they made it to the mid-level.
I don't know. They ended 6-12 in the Siouxland. Mid-season, I thought they were going to end it pretty strong, but they went on a 4-game losing streak and then finally beat Central Line to end the year. So, they had a good season.
Yeah, at times they looked like they could maybe sneak into the top, but...
They'd crack a few wins, and then they had a 2-game losing streak, and then they won. And then they had a 3-game losing streak, and then they won. And then they had a 4-game losing streak, and they finally won. So, once they started losing, it looks like they just can't get out of the slump.
And after Sibley, we have West Lion coming in at 5-12. Really disappointing year for West Lion. They're usually up there, but I guess they just don't have the talent this year. And after West Lion, we have Central Lion at 2-12 in the conference. What can we say about Central Lion? They're bad. And then Sheldon at 2-16. tied with Central Line. What?
This thing says that they were 1-17 in the conference. BC Moore does. I think you have your facts wrong.
I think maybe the Siouxland
I think
does.
Siouxland Conference webpage is wrong. Should we call them out?
I feel like we shouldn't call out the conference that we're covering, but
Probably not. We're trying to get coverage.
but yeah, Sheldon either 2-16 or 1-16. Either way, they're at the bottom and they're bad.
Oh, you're talking about Sheldon?
Yeah.
They're on 3-15.
Anyways, moving on from that, we have the final rankings going into the playoffs for 1A. Grandview is still the only team ahead of George Little Rock, even after that loss to Rock Valley. And Northwest Iowa teams, South O'Brien moving up to 4th. So maybe they could challenge George Little Rock like they did last year.
What's so funny about that, Aaron?
Just the 24-point win.
They are in the same district. Ooh, that's going to be fun to watch.
And I should probably check this out later on, but Don Bosco is at 15, not as high as they were last year. But a part of me wants to see him make the state just so we can beat him up. But yeah, not a lot of other Northwest Iowa teams in 1A. And then in 2A, the only team ahead of Boyden Hall still, even after that loss to Okoboji, is Northland. And Western coming in at 5th, so they're in the different sub-states, so they won't be playing each other. But yeah, Western is a possibility.
I was reading on something, and Pella Christian is very tough this year, is what everybody is saying.
Looks like they're barely behind Boyden Hall on BC Moore. And
One more interruption. Their schedule is 3A and 4A entirely, and that's it. They actually lost to Oskaloosa on a buzzer beater, and Oskaloosa's got that 5-star, number 5 in the nation for 2020. They lost on the buzzer beater. They're number 3 in 3A.
I mean, I guess Pella Christian coming in 2A. You're playing like 3 and 4A teams all year. This is gonna feel like a breeze for you.
Oh, for sure. It's got it.
Then Western at 5th. They just lost to T, even though T does have 2 D1 players going.
Nobody cares.
West Sioux, the still undefeated West Sioux coming in at 7th, even though they have a nice 69th ranked schedule. Sioux Center at 8th, and yeah, 2A is looking really tough for for the Siouxland. Rock Valley is at 17th, and then what else? Sibley at 28th.
I thought it dropped. What were they last week? That's
Rock Valley?
How did they drop?
I don't know how they dropped. They beat George Little Rock and they beat Boyden Hall.
How did they? Let's see. What are they? They were 14th last week. Now they're 17th.
That doesn't make any sense.
What are you doing, BC Moore? Come on.
Not giving credit where credit is due.
I love you guys, but like, come on.
I guess other teams had to pull off more. Impressive. Maybe some team beat like Northland.
Ain't nobody beating that overrated team.
And then 3A, the only team we really care about. They cracked the top 25. Number 25 ranked MLC Floyd Valley.
Ooh, watch out, boys.
So yeah,
they have too tough of a district. Their district is insane. At least 3 of those teams should be at state.
Looking at the district standings for Class 1A, District 1, Remington St. Mary's still number 1, followed by Lamar's Galen and Lawton Bronston. No other team really I can see coming out of there. Class 1A, District 2, George Little Rock, of course, is at number 1. South O'Brien, number 2, and Central Line is number 3. So basically it's a matchup between George Little Rock and South O'Brien.
The district rankings, have you ever taken a look at that?
That's what I'm doing.
The rankings.
Oh, the rankings of like the
Not
toughest districts?
Yeah. Class 2A, District 1, that is Boyden Hall, is correct?
Mm-hmm.
That is the 10th toughest in the state, including 4A. the top 8 toughest is all 4A. But, no, they're the top out of any 1A and 2A district. And then District 16 is 14th. They're the second in our region. And then where is our 1As? Ooh, 1A District 2, is that George?
Mm-hmm.
It is. They are 29th ranked district in the league.
Looks like we have a pretty simple road to state.
Where's District 1 for you guys? Is 40th.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the Galen one, and so basically the only, well, of course you got to keep your focus up during the playoffs, but looking like the only real competition George Little Rock has is South O'Brien. So you beat South of Bryan, basically going to state.
Basically.
If you keep your focus. And then looking at District 1 and 2A. Oh boy, we got a lot of contenders here. We have Boyden Hall. We have Sioux Center. Unity, maybe if they sneak in. But yeah, basically it's between Boyden Hall and the Sioux Center.
That's going to be a fun game to be at.
Yeah, that's a district final. We'll be able to make that one. We'll be in the playoffs.
Man.
So I think that's the quarterfinals too.
Yeah, because we'll have 2 games that day.
Yep.
Because if you guys win your first
if someone out there, you want to give us some updates during the game, hit us up. Because we'll be balling ourselves.
I'll find some assets out there.
And then Class 2A District 2. Looking like Pocahontas area, Lake Mills, and Forest City are the only people who look like they could come out of that one. Not really a lot known about that one. No Siouxland teams. And going all the way down to District 15 in Class 2A. It's a lot of other teams I don't know. But looks like Lakeview, East Sac, Ida Grove, and maybe Alta Aurelia are the teams to look out for in that one. They're the top 3. And then in Class 2A, District 16, this is where it gets rough. We have basically 3 of the 6 teams are teams that could possibly go to state.
Oh, easy.
We have Western Christian, we have West Sioux, and we have Rock Valley. And West Sioux, they are ranked above Western Christian in the district, but according to BC Moore, Western Christian looks like they're better. But I really want to find that one out. But again, we'll be playing basketball. So that should be fun. And so
those 3 teams are actually all undefeated in the district. They haven't played each other, but they beat up on 4, 5, and 6. So they beat everybody below them.
All right, now looking at their scoring leaders. Not a really big surprise. Cade Bleeker runs away with this one. He is the scoring leader for the Siouxland. Right behind him looks like Alex Van Kalsbeek. After that game went off, he is second. And Brandon Kingrix from Rock Valley, he's third. So some other noticeable names. Lucas Lorenzen, who absolutely cooked Boyden Hall. He's in the top 10. And right below him, the senior from Boyden Hall, Bodie Young. He finished below Lucas Lorenzen. So there's that. And now, even though we predicted our entire playoffs, we want to take a look and just go in depth of all these games coming up. First, for Class 1A District 1, the only playing game, Westwood Sloan versus Whiting. There were 2 tough teams when they're looking at each other. But this one's at Westwood Sloan. Whiting hasn't won a single game yet. They also usually lose by a good 40 or 50 points. Maybe this will be the one. Maybe. How do we feel about this one?
I still think they're gonna finish the year winless. I think Westwood will just handle them and move on to the next round.
You think they're gonna handle them? I don't know. They're on a 15-game losing streak. That's not too fun.
Yeah, once you go on a 15-game losing streak, your team starts to probably hang their head a little bit.
I don't know. I haven't been there.
Say.
They only lost to Akron by 4. I feel like they're gonna come in pretty confident. I mean, they haven't played each other, but I don't know. It's gonna be. I feel like it's actually gonna be a pretty fun game to watch, though. But I will take Westwood as well. What are you looking at?
This one's not. I was checking to see if there's no render for this game, but there is not. Not yet, BC Moore. You're 0 for 2 this week.
They don't have any other games coming up.
And then also in that one we have Kingsley Pearson versus Akron Westfield. I think I took Kingsley Pearson in that one.
Kingsley was 51st, and then Akron was 59th. I believe they moved around a little bit. Kingsley now 53. Akron is 63rd, so it looks like Akron's falling down. Both teams fell down. I'm still sticking with Kingsley.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to predict these ones when both teams are not really from the Siouxland or that good.
Yep.
But after that one, we got a semi-decent team in Galen Catholic taking on Siouxland Christian. Not really a lot to say in that one, Galen.
They both fell down in the standings as well. They both fell down 5 spots in their standings, but I'm still taking Lamar's Galen. They have better scorers.
After seeing their one game, it's tough to imagine teams that can give us a worse game. But maybe we just caught him on an off night. Galen, I think, could handle him. And we have Lawton Brownston versus Woodbury Central. This one's at Lawton Brownston. I feel like the home court advantage will get to Woodbury Central, and Lawton Brownston will take it.
You know what? Every single team in this district has fallen down in the rankings from last week. Every single team except for Whiting. Let's see if they actually fell. No, they're still 146 out of 147. But every single team has fallen more than 3 spots. That's not good. Coming into District 2, you got to play them. Good luck. I will take Lawton Bronson as well. They just looked a little bit more skilled, I guess. I don't know. Woodbury's not good this year.
And I think I can basically say whoever wins the Westwood Sloan versus Whiting game is going to lose to St. Mary's.
They have to.
They really have a shot. And then moving on to Class 1A District 2, we have MMCRU versus Clay Central Everly. That one should be a good one.
Let's see if they played. You guys covered a little bit, but wait. Oh, no, I thought Clay Central Everly moved up in the standings. My bad. Continue. Maybe not.
Clay Central Everly. Usually they have seasons where they win 0 or 1 game.
I'll just interrupt you. They lost by MMCRU won by 24 and 13.
So Clay Central Everly is moving up 13 points every.
Oh, so they might lose by 1.
You never know. You never know.
And it's at MCRU.
Never mind.
And they only lost by 13 at MMCRU.
Oh, so they're getting better every time they go to MMCRU.
See? So I'm gonna take Clay Central Everly by -5. Thank you.
So whoever wins that one is
going to get annihilated by George.
Exactly.
By 30, maybe 59,000.
Maybe we'll take it easy on them and not play our 6 players.
Play nobody. Still win.
And then we have an HMS versus Trinity Christian. I think I picked this one for Trinity because Trinity is surprisingly they pulled out games that are close to being one of the elite teams. So
Trinity is now ranked better than them. HMS falls down to 48. Trinity is now 44, and Trinity actually just beat them by 1. Remember that night we sat in Trinity's parking lot waiting to beat some people up? I mean, what? No, that night they went to HMS and they won by 1 to end the season. They're on a 4-game win streak to end the season.
Yeah, Trinity's hot right now. I feel like they can definitely take HMS.
I got Trinity.
I got Trinity as well.
The first time that they played, Trinity lost by 1. And then this one, they actually went to overtime. We probably could have made that game. They went to 1 overtime, and Trinity won by 1. It was 42-41 after overtime.
A lot of scoring.
Sounds about right.
And then
that should be a good game, though.
Yeah. And then we have South O'Brien versus Harris Lake Park, and in District 2, it's basically George Little Rock, South O'Brien, and everyone else. So I'll take South O'Brien for that one.
Yeah, give me South O'Brien.
Harris Lake Park dropped down 7 rankings, and South O'Brien stayed. So South O'Brien by 20.
Then last game, GTRA versus Central Lyon. This one should actually be a pretty good one. GTRA is about mid-level in their conference. Central Lyon is at the bottom of the Siouxland. So give me GTRA.
GTRA is ranked 54th, and
Ooh.
Central Lyon is, I think, 32nd. It's been that way the whole year. Central Lyon's been in the top 40 all year.
Yeah, because they're playing the Siouxland. GTRA is playing no one.
GTRA plays. Let's see how they play. I mean, they're not playing bad games. They barely beat Harris Lake Park. They're averaging a negative 2-point win, so they're averaging a 2-point loss on the season. It's been an up and down season. I'm going with Central Lyon. I have GTRA. Why? What are you thinking, dude? I gotta change that. I got Central Lyon in this one. What about you guys?
I don't know, knowing the way Central Lyon plays, but not knowing the way GTRA plays is kind of tough. But just knowing how Central Lyon plays, they'll play tough one game maybe, then all of a sudden they go up against the better teams, and they're like, oh crap, we gotta play them, and then they just lose by like 30. So I do not know.
This one's a tough one. I don't know who to pick. I have it all scratched out right now. I haven't filled it in yet.
Okay.
Who do you got?
This one might be a question mark for me until games actually start.
It depends which Central Line team comes out.
Yeah, that's just it. And it depends what GTRA team comes out too, because they are so inconsistent on the scoreboard. They lost by 51 game, and then they won by 30 the next game. To mediocre teams. They also lost to a Siouxland team by 9, and that was at Okoboji.
Okoboji's tougher than Rack Rabbits. Central Lion.
I don't know, man.
You know what? In a guess, I will take GTRA.
You are? I think I might have to take them too. They seem to be a little bit better.
And then they're averaging a 2-point loss.
Yeah.
And Central Line probably averaging about 10-point loss.
Let me get your stats on that. They are averaging an 11-point loss.
11-point loss.
But it's Central Line's in the Siouxland.
Yeah.
And what's their faces? GTRA is in the Twin Lakes. Who's the Twin Lakes? That's like New Alfonda, Pocahontas area. I thought they were in the other.
Still, just knowing the way Central Line plays, I'll just take GTRA for this one.
Oh man, we all got GTRA.
All right, that's first round for Class 1A District 2. Moving on to 2A, we only have 20 games for this one. But we have Sibley Ocheyedan versus Okoboji at Unity.
I'm going to keep my pick here. I got Boji.
Knowing how Boji has been playing these past 3 games, I think I'm going to take Okoboji for this one. I was going to take Sibley, but Sibley got cold, Boji got hot, so I'll take Boji.
Sibley's actually ranked 28th, and Boji's 41st. But Boji went up 4 spots, Sibley went down 5. I still got Boji. Boji's better than Sibley.
I think I originally had Sibley, but now knowing that Sibley's been going down and Okoboji's just had a great week before playoffs, so I think I'm going to change my pick and have to go with Okoboji.
Boji won by 13 in their final meeting, and that was at Boji. They lost the first one by 4 in overtime at Sibley. That was early in the year.
Well, then if you look at where they play, they both got to drive a little ways.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And then the other game in Class 2A District 1 is Unity Christian versus West Lion. So that one's at Unity too, so Unity's going to have the home court advantage.
Unity fell down 3 spots to the 13th, and West Lion just isn't not good. They fell down 14 spots from 26 to 40. I got West Lion losing big. Y'all thought I was going to pick West Lion.
Yeah, I got Unity as well, especially with that home court advantage. That'll definitely help.
Yeah, not really a lot of competition for Unity. I guess first time they can say that against a Siouxland team. But yeah, I think it's pretty simple. Unity's going to win that one, especially home court advantage, and West Lion has just gone the pooper this week. So moving on from that district, we got.
Let's actually look at the second round. That second round is very tough. Boyne Hall and Boji, they struggle to play against each other.
That was at Boyne Hall, though.
Unity. I got Boyne Hall too, but Siouxland Unity. That's a pretty tough district to win.
Good one.
Let's move on to District 2.
All right, so we got Esterville Lincoln Central taking on Emmitsburg at Pocahontas area.
Esterville stayed the same rank. They went down 1, and then Emmitsburg went down 4 to 64. They're actually evenly matched, 52 versus 64. I don't believe they played each other, have they? Yep, they have. Esterville won the first one by 5 and won the second one by 8. Esterville's got 4 wins in the year, and 2 of them came against Emmitsburg. Emmitsburg's got 8 wins in the year. Who do you got?
This one should actually be a pretty good one. This one is at a neutral site, and so it's basically skill versus skill. It's a really close one, but I kind of want Esterville Lincoln Central to win this one because I want the announcer to say the midgets win.
I hate them on NBA 2K, by the way. I hate them on NBA 2K. I keep trading away all the good players.
And So we got any other predictions for us for Lincoln Central and Amherstburg?
Blake?
I mean, they say it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, but
That's
I
very,
think
very true.
yeah, I think Esterville will win 3 times this season, though.
I think so too. Emmitsburg just doesn't know how to play.
And the other game in Class 2A District 2 is Pocahontas area versus Manson Northwest Webster at Pocahontas area.
Pocahontas is 22nd. They moved down 2 spots. What is going on with all these teams? And then Manson, I can't find them. So give me Pocahontas area. They actually were competing for their conference title. I think they actually got it. Let me double check.
By the way, Northwest Webster is 77th.
They are 77. They
2A.
moved down 3 spots.
So they're kind of cold at this point. And where was I?
In the conference, Pocahontas finished 5th, and Northwest Webster finished 10th. So neither team really put in battle for the conference title.
So give me the home court advantage for Pocahontas area, and I'll take them.
Yeah, Pocahontas as well.
They murdered Northwest Webster in the first one, 71-34. And in the second one, to close out the year, they won by 19. And that was the 5th. That was 5 weeks ago. I will take Pocahontas area.
And moving on to Class 2A District 15, we have Cooper Catholic versus the team that has more letters than MCRU. MVAOCOU.
Carroll, Cooper, they moved from 44th to 45th. Not much of a change there. And blah, 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 blah. They are at 69th. They stayed the same. Must be their lucky number. Do you think they could win?
I don't know. They got 7 towns competing for them. So,
so a starter is one dude from each town.
Exactly.
So what town's better?
You can't ask me that. I just don't know.
I just don't know.
But I think I have experience, not in basketball with Comfort Catholic, but we played them in football a few times, and that's the team that's more familiar. So give me Comfort Catholic.
They have not played each other, and I will take Carroll, Cooper, Catholic as well.
I don't really know.
I don't think anybody knows in these games.
No. I think I'll end up just going with Carroll Kemper Catholic, as long as they don't do what they do in football in the playoffs. Lose.
Those yellow helmets really get to you. Even though we had yellow helmets, I don't know why I'm saying that. So then we have Alta Aurelia versus Missouri Valley at Alta Aurelia.
Alta Aurelia is going to murder them.
Yeah.
They're ranked 33rd. They dropped 6 spots, though, but Missouri Valley is ranked 89th out of, 93.
Usually when a team first round has home court advantage, that probably just means that they're going to kill the other team. So give me Alta Aurelia for that one.
So you're saying Boyd Hall might kill Okoboji? So you're saying Boyd Hall might kill Okoboji? There's a chance!
I don't know if there's that drive, though.
For Okoboji.
There's always a chance in the playoffs.
This is like March Madness in February.
That district is actually pretty tough. But if you look at MVAOCOU, that's 5 towns right there? If they
7.
win, they play OABCIG. That's 40 towns together.
OABCIG.
It might as well be
6 plus 7.
It might as well just be.
That's 13 towns in one game.
Let's just put them in the whole state. Iowa versus Iowa. Battle for the sun.
They might have to just go play at Wells Fargo.
They might as well.
There's too many damn towns.
Alright, then we have Class 2A District 16. We have Cherokee, Washington versus Sheldon at Rock Valley. So who we got for this one?
So who's playing? Cherokee's boys or girls?
Boys.
If it's their girls, I got Cherokee. Sheldon, they moved up to 48th out of they were 50th, and then Cherokee went from 35th to 36th. What do you guys think? They have not played each other. Although Cherokee has played the. Shoot, man, I thought. No, they just played a bunch of teams around here.
You know what? Sheldon's on a hot streak. They almost beat Boyden Hall, and they almost beat Sioux Center. So going up against them in the last week will definitely give them some more strength as they head into the playoffs. So give me Sheldon over Cherokee.
Cherokee's on a 7-game losing streak. Sheldon's on a 2, but that's the Boyden Hall and Sioux Center.
I think the Siouxland can overcome Cherokee, and even the bottom can get a dub.
I had Sheldon in the first place. Give me Sheldon yet. I'm sticking with Sheldon. At Rock Valley, they're going to be used to it.
I'm sticking it with Sheldon too, just because they're playing at Rock Valley at a place they're more familiar with, rather than Cherokee playing at Rock Valley.
They actually only lost at Rock Valley by 12 this year, which isn't a bad take. We're supposed to lose by 13.
And then our final prediction for the Knights. Rock Valley versus Hinton. We're ending on a really tough one. This one's at Rock Valley, so who do we got?
Give me home court advantage. Give me Rock Valley.
Rock Valley's coming off some hot games.
Yes.
I think they're just going to take it.
Before this week, I didn't think I thought Rock Valley had a puncher's chance at winning this district, but now I think they have a legit chance.
Hinton only lost to West Sioux by 12 to end the year. That was their final game. So, is it going to be interesting?
Looks like we got two hot teams.
They had a 3-game winning streak coming in to Harris Lake Park, Akron, and Marcus. I probably should have mentioned that. But they dominated every single team. They dominated all 3 teams.
But then again, that's the teams they're playing. Rock Valley's coming in to the playoffs, beating the number 2 team in 2A and 1A.
I forgot we're talking about Rock Valley. I don't know why I'm arguing. I'll take Rock Valley. In a closer game than expected, though. I feel like the over-under is going to be about 20, 25. I think it'll be about a 10-point game.
I can see a 10-15 game coming out of that.
Just because Hinton's coming out of playing West Sioux.
Also, when we're talking about Rock Valley, now we have West Sioux and Western. I thought Rock Valley was kind of just like, they have, again, a puncher's chance, but not really a legit chance. Now I think they have a legit chance coming out of this district the way they're playing.
But Western got Parker Viss back, their star player.
Not Riley Bisbeck. Oh, sorry.
No. I don't even know this kid, honestly. We're not even related. But, hey, if you want to give me some of your talents, I already got them. I don't need yours.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. Actually, we can't because this game will be done by our next podcast.
But we should do a podcast Wednesday. We almost have to now that it's flat. We have to. We have to do each round now.
And we also have a game on Wednesday.
We can do it after the game.
That's true.
We kind of do have to do a podcast every round now. Since we're really covering.
We can just do like a quick 5-10 minute one.
Just predictions. Like recap the first round and then second round prediction.
Looks like we got a date.
I can't wait.
So there was the predictions for the play-in games and first round for Class 1A. So it's story time. What games did we see this week and what happened?
What game? What was the first game that we
first game went to was West Sioux versus Unity at West Sioux.
Oh, you were there?
That feels like years ago, but that was on Monday.
It felt like it was like a week or 2 ago. That was a fun game to be at, honestly. Both crowds were getting into it.
West Sioux got up. West Sioux did get up early, but Unity fought back and brought it within 4 points.
Wasn't it like a 16-point? It was an 16-point.
It was a 22.
It was 22 because I said once it gets up to 25, we're leaving.
It was a 22-point. They closed it within 4, and then ultimately they lost by 9. Yeah, that was. I could see the game within the game, considering we all played a few years of high school basketball, and it looks like we had some rivalry, heated matchups going into that one.
The final score was a 9-point win for West Sioux.
Mm-hmm.
They were up 2 at the half, and then they scored 27. In the second, and then it looked like a normal game, 19-25 in the third, and then 20-20 in the fourth. It was a really fun game to be at.
Yeah, West Sioux was hitting on all cylinders right away. Then they went cold, and that's when Unity just went off.
Yeah, they did.
They had 18 assists too. West Sioux did. What were we gonna say, Blake?
I'm just waiting if we're done with this.
Oh,
then we'll move on to the next game.
Okay.
We went to that same night.
Did we go to 3 games this week? Yeah, we did.
Yep.
We did.
After
that, we went to Boyden Hall versus Rock Valley.
We saw that fourth quarter.
So just the fourth quarter.
But to finish off this one, both teams had 4 double-digit scores. So we had 8 double-digit scores. How crazy is this? Unity had 3 players shooting 4 for 12. They all shot 4 for 12. One, that number 33 that shot a lot of threes.
Yep.
He was 4 for 11 from 3. He only shot 1, 2.
Yeah. Then we went to the Boynton Hall Rock Valley game. That one was nuts. Just when you thought Rock Valley was pulling it off, no question.
Oh, that was a great comeback.
And then Boynton Hall just came back a little too late, but they came back hitting on all cylinders. With I think one was Carter Francis hit a 3, and then right after that, Spencer DeSlaw hit a 3 to bring it within like a 2-point game. But ultimately, Rock Valley ended up winning.
Did we have stats earlier on this game? Because I got stats here now.
Oh, really?
For Boynton Hall.
Oh, when I was putting together the thing, they didn't.
We had 3 players in double digits. No, yeah, we did. Because remember I said we were shooting good. Boynton Hall shot good.
It was the Okaboji one.
Yeah, Boynton Hall shot good. It was just the defense.
Yep, defense effort.
It was a rivalry. I mean, it was a friendly rivalry. It's always a fun.
It was. You could probably call it the Nighthawk game.
Yeah, for sure.
And I guess when you're going up against guys you played football with, it's kind of an awkward situation because like you want to beat the crap out of them, but at the same time you're buds.
For sure.
And then you also know how to get in their head and maybe a little easier too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Student section knew what to say. For both teams, they were in it.
So that was a fun game to go to for our 10 minutes we were there. And yeah, it was definitely a classic game in the Siouxland. And then a few days went by, and then we were back at it on Friday. We were watching George Little Rock versus Rock Valley. And George Little Rock looked like they had this one in the first half, and then defying everything they did this year, their second half was terrible.
Especially only coming out halftime scoring 3 points.
Yep, they could not hit their shots. Rock Valley was all over them. It was basically a tale of 2 halves. First half, George Little Rock was all over Rock Valley. Rock Valley couldn't do anything because GLR was just moving out everywhere, stealing, tipping, and then second half,
everything just flip-flopped.
Just flip-flopped, and Rock Valley just took control. They were all over George Little Rock, and George Little Rock really couldn't get a shot off because of the defensive pressure. And, yeah.
That Rock Valley defense is... When they're playing good, it's very hard to play
tough.
against them.
Really? Even for the playoffs, it's going to depend on what Rock Valley team comes out. If it comes out the Rock Valley team
who came out maybe the first half of the year,
then they're losing. They'll lose to Western easy by 15.
Yeah, but if the team that came out this last week comes out in the playoffs, then they're going to be a tough team to beat.
That Western Rock Valley game, that's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty good game. But, yeah, even, like, if I put myself in a situation of playing against Rock Valley at this point, I can't move. I can't shoot because that defense is insane when it gets clicking.
Did they do a 2-3 or a 3-2, or were they playing man? I think they were doing a man switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like we always used to do man switch.
We never played zone. We played zone this year a little bit. Surprisingly.
I know George played a little zone in that Rock Valley game.
Yeah,
it kind of fell apart after
didn't really work.
The only way zone works in basketball is if you are good at it and you practice it all the time. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get toasted all game long.
I mean, shout out to our coaches last year, some of the best in the state of Iowa. But, yeah, what we did was we practiced the zone for maybe a practice or 2, and then we went out and put it in a game. That's just not going to work very well.
It's not going to work at all. Unless you've had experience doing it.
Exactly. So, there's our story time. It was a fun week this week. We're looking for an even better week next week. Come playoff time.
What games are we going to?
Oh, man. We can't go to the play-in games because we will obviously be playing. But we got probably a Western versus Rock Valley game to go to. I really want to see the conclusion of that one.
Yep. For all of our fans out there, we actually thought about going to the Boynton Hall and Sibley or Okaboji game because that is... On my first paper, it says that at Sioux Center, but they moved it to Boynton Hall, and both games are at 7. All games are actually at 7, so they changed everything.
So I really kind of want to see that Unity Christian versus Sioux Center.
I kind of did too, but I'd rather see Rock Valley and Sioux Center end it, or Western end it. Don't you think?
Well, we can
We'll keep an eye on the score stream.
We might have to split up.
You
We
really want to?
might.
Let's just look at the score stream and whatever game's closest at halftime of the Boyne Hall game. Do you want to go to the Boyne Hall first half?
I for sure want to see the conclusion of Western versus Rock Valley.
Yeah.
Like that.
Do you really want to go all the way to Sioux Center and pay and then drive all the way back to Hall? Is what I'm asking.
This one's at
to
Sioux
not
Center.
to not see the ending.
Oh boy, this play. We only have 3 of us, and
Yeah, it kind of sucks. We need to. If anybody wants to join our podcast, I know Daniel. I know we have a few friends that wanted to join it, but
hey, one from each school.
He goes to HMS.
That's not even Siouxland.
But no, if anybody wants to join us in this podcast, feel free to shoot us a message on social media.
I mean, yeah, that one is at Boyne Hall, and the other game is at Western, so that's like 2 blocks away.
Yeah. It's actually 4 blocks. I used to live near Western.
You move around so much, Riley.
Yeah, I know. I'm just a busy man. I'm a businessman.
But yeah, well, I guess we'll see. For sure, we're gonna see the conclusion of Western versus Rock Valley.
We'll put our social media in the link below, and we have a Snapchat now recently, and we actually have quite a few followers on there. We have a Facebook and an Instagram. We have 2 Facebooks actually.
So definitely give us a look, and
Go follow us there.
we'll keep you updated.
Our Snapchat one, we tell people where we're going. We tell our fans where we are going each game. So.
And then we'll give you updates throughout the game, how the game is going.
We give updates on Instagram as well, and we go live before and after each game that we attend on YouTube. So be sure to check them out too.
All right. Last up, we have some player memories. Here we go. We have, what is our most memorable player matchup? Let's go first.
Oh,
I think you
that
should.
chubby dude against Sheldon. That I hit a 3 in his face. What's up? I don't even know his last name. He's so irrelevant in my life.
Yeah, if you're a little chubbier guy who graduated from Sheldon in like 2015.
No, it was like 17. He was a young kid playing.
2017. Then go look up Riley Viss. Don't look up his address though.
No, you can. I'll meet you at NCC. I'm ready.
Blake, you want to go?
Oh, sure. I have 2 that I kind of like, but I think I'll go with me versus Brady Wright from Central Lyon. Because I know when we played at Rock Valley, I hit 3 threes in a row, ended that game with 9 points. Yeah, pretty much did the 3 to the head. I'm Steph Curry. And then we went to Central Lyon, and he let me score 2 more threes, and then I had 3 out of 4 for free throws, and then I also had a 2-pointer. Finished that with 11. That was my best game of the whole year.
My most memorable player matchup was our win against Central Lyon, and for the entire second half, I was guarding Zed Hymanson. That was quite the player matchup. He tried to drive on me a lot. I'd body him up. He'd try to flop. It didn't really work that well. And when he figured he couldn't go to the driving because I'd either steal it, block it, or he'd flop, then at the end of the game, he figured I want to shoot a 3, so I gave him some space. I told him to shoot it. He did, and boy, did he miss it. And then I came around and hit a 3 right in his face after he was talking a little bit. So, yeah, that was my most memorable player matchup. And this was the Northwest Iowa Sports Podcast coming to you from Hull, Iowa. We will see you guys, what is that, Thursday? Or is it Wednesday?
We're making one Wednesday night.
All right, we'll see you Wednesday night. So have a good week. Cheer for your team, and we'll see you later.
Yay!